Hi everyone, Leonard here from NutriHydro, your quality improvement engineer. Today, nandito tayo sa NH Studio and we are graced by Mr. Nathan Miguel, also known as Kaliwanag, and Mabs. Tutulungan niya tayong i-discuss yung isa sa mga pinaka-importanting stage and steps when it comes to lettuce cultivation, and that is the medium preparation, and he will talk about all about net pots, which one to use, which is appropriate to use depending on which method na gagamitin ninyo. Bro, thank you so much for giving us your time to help us, so you can impart your knowledge and expertise para sa ating mga newbies. Alam mo naman na hindi nauubos ang mga newbies, hindi nauubos yung mga gustong matutong magtanim. And of course, it is when you start something, mas maganda yung you will start correctly. You start right para maganda yung foundation, di ba? And of course, you are among the one of the foremost na magaling when it comes to this kind of thing. You're very credible. So, without further ado, floor is yours.
Thank you again, Len, for inviting me here dito sa NH Studio para ipakilala uli natin or ipakilala natin sa mga newbies yung mga commonly used grow mediums. Okay. So, before we start the processing, kilatisin muna natin ang ating mga grow mediums na gagamitin natin sa hydroponics.
Yeah.
So, before anything else, dapat we make sure na hygienically malinis ang ating mga sarili, lalo ng ating kamay, especially mga gamit natin within the grow area, the working area specifically, para walang transferring ng pathogens, ng any unwanted bad bacteria. So, everything must be sanitized and clean. Yun yung unang priority natin.
Right off the bat, kailangan start correctly.
Before we start anything, before we touch anything sa grow area, kahit sa greenhouse or indoor setup. So, we have to be hygienically clean and sanitized. So, from head to foot, especially the hands. So, ganun lagi ang dapat laging routine.
Okay.
Dapat yun ang unahin natin as growers, as farmers, kahit owner ka. We have to be aware of level of cleanliness sa ating grow area. So, let's proceed. Ang ating mga grow mediums, ito yung mga commonly used, mga karaniwang ginagamit natin sa hydroponics, which are water absorbent. Some of them are talagang mataas ang water retention. Some of them are bagay sa buong taong pagtatanim. But few of them are not really good for in a certain season or during summer, especially hot days.
You're talking about these three. When you do selection sa the mediums that you will use, you have to consider first the season,
season.
And then of course the climate and temperature of where you live basically. Then you can decide which is appropriate. I see.
Kaya madalas na tanong dyan is, babagay ba ito sa lugar, lalo na kung lowland grower tayo? Dapat maintindihan ng mga growers natin na ang mga grow medium na to ay may specific na paggagamitan, may specific na panahon na babagay. Kasi dapat natin malaman na ang lettuce natin ay bagay sa malamig na klima. So, dapat ang greenhouse natin ay controlled din. So, kung controlled ang ating greenhouse, lahat ng ito ay magagamit natin. So, isa-isa nating ipapakilala at papaliwanag bakit ito ay mahalaga sa ganitong panahon at kung ano yung mga grow medium na babagay sa buong taon. So, let's start with rockwool. Ito ay gawa sa volcanic material, specifically basalt rocks and dolomite. Kaya dolomite, it's a light in color, tapos with some volcanic rocks na light in color din. So, So, pre-process siya para maging fibrous, then compacted para maging cubes. So, hindi lahat ng growers is magiging hiyang sa paggamit nito kasi
Why?
yung mismong fiber niya, mararamdaman niyo yung pagiging magaspang niya, kumakapit sa ating mga balat. Kaya sinasabi ng iba ay makati. Then some are tumutusok sa balat mismo.
I see.
So you have to wear gloves kung gagamit kayo ng ganitong grow medium, which is the rock wool. So ito ay highly absorbent din, mataas din ang water retention. May mapapakita natin mamaya sa pag-sterilize and pag-process nito. And bagay din ito during cold season, pero for the summer, lalo na kung naka-NFT ka, hindi siya advisable. Lalo na kung yung greenhouse mo is not really controlled well or talagang mahirap i-control when it comes to temperature.
Yung
indoor climate niya. So, para magamit mo to ng maayos, dapat ang iyong greenhouse ay talagang akma sa temperature. Kasi hindi siya mainit, may ventilation. So, masusulit niyo ang paggamit na to kapag na-meet niyo yung greenhouse niyo ay talagang suitable for growing talaga.
So, may I ask, ano naman yung advantage if you use this?
Advantage nito, hindi mo na kailangan gumamit ng cup.
You're talking about this one?
Yeah. Either this cup or itong mga ganitong net pots.
You mean to say, from ito, direkta na?
Yes.
Pwede
ka na mag-direct sowing sa ganitong grow medium.
Okay. So, can we cut, bro? Can we cut, please? Now, the reason why I ask, bro, is that, kasi, di ba, ang kadalasan, parang ginagamit siya dito, di ba? Oo. And then, of course, nabanggit mo kanina is that it also has the ability nga to retain moisture. Yes. Now, the question is, advantages, yun yung isang advantage. Ano naman yung disadvantage niya?
Disadvantage is, since na maliit yung size niya, during summer or hot days, talagang, lalo na pag mataas yung temperature, mataas yung evaporation rate, mako-compromise. Madali siyang matuyo. And at the same time, yung heat na absorb ng tubig, then chain reaction. Pati yung grow medium, maiinitan din. So, pati yung lettuce, yung mismong tanim natin ay matutuyan, magkakaroon ng root rot and everything. It's a chain reaction of the heat. Kapag ganito yung gagamitin mong grow medium during hot days or summer.
I see. May I also add, bro, ito is, I would say it's ideal for NFT. Specifically because, pag naka-NFT ka, wala ma-eliminate yung possibility na magbara yung system mo. Yeah, because if you use ng sa NFT, 'di ba? The last thing you want is yung system mo ay magkaroon siya ng mga dumi. Yes. And that is one of the challenges, I would say, na kapag gumamit ng coco peat. Pag ito hindi malinis siya. Wala yung eliminated yung risk na yun basically. Tapos, of course, this one pag itong rock wool is mas maganda siyang gamitin sa ganito. But however, sabi mo kanina, is pwede siyang direct na. Okay? When you say direct, how will you put this sa system niyo, sa bed niyo or what?
Lalo na paano sa NFT, once na meron na siyang sprouts, then seedlings, develop na yung roots, you simply place the grow medium with the seedlings inside.
So, ibig sabihin, for example, let's we need your imagination on this one. Imagine ito yung channels mo, right? Yes. May butas ka. Ang sinasabi mo is that you can tama ba? Tapos wala na ito. Yeah. So, direct na siya. So yun yung sinasabi mo na But of course, they can always opt to use this. Yeah. Lagay mo dyan.
Pwede pa rin kayo gumamit ng cups. If you are into kratky, deep water culture, or deep, yung hybrid ng NFT, which is the deep flow, which is yung mga 3 inches, yung mga gumagamit ng 3 inches pipe, 4 inches pipe, which is may malalim na flowing water doon. So you can still use the cup and you can place the rock wool inside the cup para
hindi siya maano. Kasi syempre,
Yes,
there's a movement inside it.
yes, para
There's a flow.
yung water level will just touch the base na
Nice.
grow medium, not necessarily submerge. Kaya yung tinuro ni Dr. Kratky, which is dapat, Bernard Kratky, na dapat touching lang talaga, na dadampi lang yung tubig dun sa mismong grow medium, not necessarily submerge. So we still need the cup, lalo na kung malalalim yung mga grow systems natin, like deep water culture, Kratky method. So kailangan pa rin natin ng cups.
I see. Duly noted.
Yeah.
So yeah. Okay. And then the next one is,
Next one.
I'm sorry.
Ay.
Mamaya natin pag-usapan yung preparation,
process,
right?
yeah.
The preparation. Because each of these have their own
Way of-
processing
yeah.
method, correct? O sige. Yeah.
So, that's the rock wool. Next is the horticulture foam. Yan. Alam natin na synthetic. Lalo na kung white ito, kung puti, kapag in-squeeze natin, pinasip-sip natin ng tubig, makikita natin yung water level niya panandalian na nag-stay, pero eventually, lumalabas. Nagde-drain.
Yes.
So, ito ay bagay lang gamitin sa indoor growing. Pero sa greenhouse cultivation, paggamit nito sa mga greenhouses, lalo na kung tag-init, hindi talaga siya advisable. Unless kung yung greenhouse nyo talagang well-controlled ang climate, temperature, may proper ventilation, maganda yung humidity, you can still use. Pero kailangan nyo pa rin talagang siguraduhin na maayos, conducive yung greenhouse nyo para makagamit kayo ng foam or ng rock wool. So, yun yung mga factor para magamit nyo ito ng maayos. So, advantage din ito dahil malinis, wala kayong eating residue during yung cycle ng growth ng lettuce. So, wala kayong isipin ng gaya ng coco peat, yung mga particles niya. So, makikita nyo yung reservoir nyo, malinis, walang any kinds of particles na So, malaking advantage din siya. But again, kung conducive naman yung greenhouse nyo, why not? Pwede nyo gamitin ng foam. Pero pag hindi siya advisable na gamitin during hot days talaga.
I see. May I ask, in comparison to rock wool, I do understand in rock wool cannot be reused.
Yeah.
Right? Horticulture foam can
Horticulture foam based
reused,
based sa experience ko, hindi ko na siya ginagamit.
Because
nag-accumulate din siya ng algae over time after ng 45 days of cultivation ng isang cycle ng tanim. Over time kasi nag-accumulate siya ng salts, ng algae. Then eventually, pag pinutol nyo na yung tanim, yung stock ng root and the roots itself, mabubulok.
Now I get it. Yeah, because kapag inipit mo siya, di ba? And then, of course, the roots, dadaan din siya dito. And of course, when that happened, ay medyo mahirap siyang tanggalin.
Yes.
The same with the what do you call this, the rock wool.
Yeah.
Alam mo, isa-isahin mo. Yeah. Okay. I got your point.
Hindi siya practical na i-reuse talaga. I tried twice, pero talagang nag-give up din ako dahil tatabahuin ko pa na tanggalin yung mga dead roots, mga ganyan. No, it's not. So, you have to dispose it properly na. So, itong mga, lalo na ang rock wool naman, pwede naman siyang itapon with the biodegradable since alam naman natin yung material is volcanic material siya. So, we can safely dispose of this material together with the other biodegradable material. Itong synthetic foam naman, we have to make sure dun siya sa non-biodegradable. Pero we have to make sure na dry talaga yung roots before we dispose it. So that's horticulture foam. So that's yan yung malaking pinagkaibahan nila. Ito ay mataas ang water retention compared dito over time nag-drain. So best use, mas magandang gamitin pa rin itong rock wool kung itong dalawang pagbabatayan natin.
Noted. And then the third
lastly,
one?
The third one, yung pinaka-commonly used talaga, pinaka-popular dito sa ating bansa.
Because it is widely available.
Yeah, widely available. Napakarami ng bukuhan natin dito, mga taniman ng bukod dito, taniman ng nyog, which is from Quezon, Laguna, yan, ang coco peat. So, since nagiging popular ang hydroponics, mas marami na rin ang nagpa-process o gumagawa ng grow medium na to. Hindi lang sa hydroponics, but the whole agriculture community, kahit yung mga horticulture and the other related sa gardening, talagang
Yung mga,
napakarami.
Yung mga, what do you call this? Mga plantitos, yung mga indoor plants, they
Yeah.
also use this. They also use
They
this.
mix it with vermicast, yeah,
exactly.
vermicast, mga loam soil,
Yes,
and
exactly.
carbonized rice hull, yeah. Dagdag aeration din. Actually.
Yes, yes.
So ito yung pinaka magandang gamitin throughout the year. Any season, malamig man ang panahon, tag-init man, kasi napakataas ng water retention nito. Kahit hindi gumana minsan o tumigil man ang water pump mo sa isang araw.
You're talking about yun sa
sa NFT.
NFT, for example, nag-brown out ka because of its ability to absorb moisture and liquid is may iwan pang mapagkukuhanan yung alam.
So, magiging kampante ka dahil mas mataas ang water retention nito. Kahit mag-brown out, kahit isang araw, walang dumadaloy na tubig sa NFT system mo, pwedeng-pwede ito. Yeah.
I see.
So again, kahit na kukupit ang gamit po, you have to make sure pa rin na maganda yung klima sa loob ng iyong greenhouse. Para magamit mo ng lubos itong kukupit kahit mag-brown out man, di ba? Magiging kampante ka. Diba? Okay. Yeah. So that's our 3 commonly used grow medium.
Now, brother, let's talk about the individual preparations for rock wool, horticulture foam, and coco peat.
Yeah.
Ito, ang unang-una ibibigay ko sa iyo. The rock wool. How do you prepare it? What's your procedure in it?
So, ang rock wool, unang lilinisan muna natin. So, tatanggalin natin yung mga extra fibers na nakasama nito. Yung
Alikabok, yung mga loose, sabihin natin.
Loose fibers. Kasi we don't want those fibers na humalo sa ating nutrient solution, sa pinaka daluyan ng tubig. So, we have to clean it properly. Again, bago natin simulan ng paglilinis, we have to wear gloves. Just to make sure na walang contaminants or any pathogens na sasama sa ating mga sa ating pag-process ng ating mga grow mediums. So you have to wear gloves pa rin. Lalo na sa mga sensitive ang balat.
Like you?
Yeah, like me. Naramdaman ko kanina na may tumutusok.
So medyo makati siya.
Yeah, makati siya. So kailangan nating mag-gloves. We're going to use hydrogen peroxide para ma-sanitize, sterilize yung grow medium natin. Okay. Before we pH adjust the rock wool.
The rock wool.
Yes.
Okay.
So ito ay 6 liters. So ang ilalagay nating amount of hydrogen peroxide is around 126.
The ratio is 21 ml per liter of water. So just do the math. 21 times 6 because we have 6 liters. Okay. You need a... there you go.
So, tama.
Yeah, this is 100 ml. So you just...
Again.
Press. Ingat sa kamay.
So, may shot ng debuhos. Let's assume na 126 na lang doon. So 126 ml of hydrogen peroxide, and we, thank you, stir it. And since na mataas yung concentration niyan, pwede natin siyang ibabad for an hour lang. So not necessary whole day or 24 hours. Para malinisan lang natin, may sterilize, matanggal lang yung mga hibla na hindi natin kailangan sa ating system.
Sa inyo nga, sa rock wool.
Either NFT or Kratky method. So, masigurado lang natin na matanggal ang mga hibla na yan.
So after soaking it with your hydrogen peroxide mixture, tsaka mo siya
pH balance.
Okay, got it.
So let's say after an hour,
Tapos
may reaction na ng hydrogen peroxide sa bromedium natin, sa rock wool, at
you simply
wala
heat it
nang
up.
you simply hangin lang natin. Yan. Then we let it drain.
Ng mga few minutes.
Yeah. Then we do the pH adjustment para mabalanse lang natin yung bromedium to a certain level of
the desired pH.
pH.
Okay.
So our desired pH level is around 5.5 to 6.5.
Between that range. Okay.
Between that range. Para ma-neutralize natin yung alkaline level na itong rock wool. Advice ko rin is we can cut the cubes right away instead of placing or soaking it directly. Kasi ang advantage ng cut cubes is para hindi na tayo mag-alala doon sa roots na mapuputol. Diba? Once na ginawa natin na kapag nag-sowing tayo na hindi cut ang ating mga grow medium, ang tendency, mapuputol yung roots.
You have that risk.
Yeah. So, para maiwasan yung root stress at hindi maputol yung mga roots once na seedling na, full-grown seedling na sila, mas maiging i-cut na natin siya before we sow. Okay. So, just to give you a demo lang.
Okay. And how many minutes for them to soak it? Is it an hour, a few minutes, or paano ba?
So, soaking the medium will just take 30 minutes up to an hour. Kasi kapag sobrang babad naman sa tubig ito, may tendency na mag-loose.
Break apart.
Yeah, it will break apart talaga. So, ito. For demo purposes lang, so ito yung buong tube, buong block ng rock wool, isusok natin for 30 minutes. Then, separate or individual rock wool. So, while doing that, so makikita na natin na may reaction na agad yung So, ayan lang natin siyang nakababad for an hour. 30 minutes to an hour.
But not too long kasi otherwise, magbabasag-basag na siya. No? Magkakahiwa-hiwa na siya.
Then, i-check uli natin ang pH niya kapag nasa optimal level na siya.
Yung desired na.
Yung desired level.
Within that range.
Kasi i-neutralize na yung alkaline level nitong grow medium.
Okay. So let's assume it's been 30 minutes. What will you do next?
So pwede na natin i-check just to make sure na kung naabot niya na yung range na yun. Kapag hindi pa, ibabad uli natin siya for the next 30 minutes. Para lang ma-meet yung level of pH. So, kapag na-meet nyo na yun, or nasa optimal level na siya ng 5.5, between 5.5 to 6.5, pwede na nating hanguin. Yan. At muling pigain. Para i-extract lang yung tubig na may pH adjusted. Yan. Then,
pwede lang gamitin yan.
Pwede na natin gamitin yan.
Lagyan ng seeds, di ba?
Seeds,
and then,
or pwedeng mag-insert ng seedling na 15-day-old or 12-day-old seedling. Then, pwede na siyang idiretso sa grow medium.
I see.
Pwede na siyang idiretso sa grow area.
Kung ano man yung bed nila. Yeah. Okay.
So again, ito ay pwede nating gamitan ng cup. Yes. Kung tayo ay may system na Kratky or deep water culture, mga malalalim na system which require cups. So alam naman natin na yung standard na water level dapat dumadampi lang sa pinaka-base ng grow medium.
The net pots.
Net pots. Just touching the base ng grow medium. Not necessary na lunod or naka-submerge. So, just, yun, sakto lang na nakadampi yung tubig sa cup at saka sa grow medium. Yun. Kasi ang hydroponics naman is, dapat yung roots submerge na sa mismong tubig. Then eventually, bababa yung water level, magkakaroon ng air roots. So, not necessary na muling mababasa yung grow medium.
Nice.
And again, reminder sa mga growers, dapat yung greenhouse nyo is suitable for growing talaga. Controlled climate, controlled temperature, humidity, may air circulation, para lubos natin magamit at ma-appreciate ang paggamit ng horticulture foam sa greenhouses.
I see.
Pero kung hindi, mas doon pa rin tayo sa safe para hindi makompromise ang tanim natin during hot days.
Okay. Natapos nating i-prepare ang rock wool and the horticulture foam. Now, we will proceed to the commonly used and popular, I would say, na coco peat. Do your thing.
So, ito yung pinaka-popular na grow medium dito sa Pilipinas, ang coco peat, which has may mataas na water retention. Also, good aeration. Kasi napaka, loose. Yan. So, para siyang may mga small bits of particles ng coco peat. And at the same time, meron din may mga yung mga fibers din, which
unwanted,
is the coco coir.
Yeah.
Yung mga ganyang kahabang mahabang hibla ng coco coir. We can do the sifting or pagbibistay.
Yung bistay. Yeah. Para matanggal yung mga ganito.
Pero maging be mindful din mga growers kasi we don't need yung portion nito, yung maputik na portion.
Yung pinaka-finer
yung pinaka-pino na version.
Parang putik siya.
Yung parang putik na siya. Makikita nyo kapag binabad nyo to sa tubig, naghihiwalay. Bumababa yung pinaka-pinong version ng coco peat. Kapag hinalukay nyo sa ilalim ng tubig, makikita nyo na agad yung malaputik na version ng coco peat. Ang kailangan lang natin is yung nasa ibabaw, which is lumulutang na siya. Yun lang yung usable. na coco peat for grow medium.
I see. Okay.
So, unang gagawin natin is to wash and sterilize at the same time.
Wash and sterilize at the same time. And how do you do that?
So, simply by placing maglalagay lang tayo ng tubig sa isang tub. For this demo, it's 6 liter. So, dapat mas marami yung amount ng tubig kaysa amount ng coco peat para mas lubog siya. Kasi kung equal amount lang siya, parang lang siya. It's not enough. Parang nagpuputik lang siya or nagsosolidify. So, dapat at least medyo, mas marami yung tubig.
By tubig, you mean the solution of hydrogen peroxide in water. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. Now, kayo na nagamit na natin yan using the when we prepared the rock wool
the foam.
The foam. Now, this is a new
bago na to.
Exactly. So we need to create. We need to make another mixture.
Dilution of hydrogen peroxide, which is 12%, again, 21 ml per liter of water. It doesn't matter kung dechlorinated siya or with chlorine. Kasi mahalaga naman din yung properties ng chlorine, which is nililinis niya rin yung
to help the to kill basically some of the unwanted
pathogens.
Pathogens.
Yes. It will beneficial din naman yung paglilinis at pag-sterilize din ng grow medium natin. So since this is 6 liters of water, mag-add tayo ng 21 ml per liter, so that's 126 ml of hydrogen peroxide into the water. So while doing this, ang malaking tipid para sa akin sa tubig kung isasabay ko na siya kung isasabay ko ng paglilinis din, wash and sterilize.
Sterilize at the same. Kasi yung bukod yung
paghugas, separate,
and then
you sterilize mo.
So Gawin mo lang siyang single step.
For me, it's very practical na gano'n. Kasi, una, nakakatipid ako sa tubig.
Sa tubig, yeah.
Hindi biro kasi yung gagastos ka ng a large volume of water just for washing repeatedly. Yun yung common na ginagawa ng ibang nakasanayan. Pero for me, since na for practical reasons, isabay na natin ang washing and sterilization. Okay. Then, yung sterilization niya, it will take for 24 hours to 2 days maximum. Then, on the second day, siguro, on the second day, specifically, makikita nyo na yung reaction ng hydrogen peroxide sa bromine. Yes, bumubula talaga siya. So, that means, nag-react na yung nalinis niya na.
Ng mixture ng hydrogen peroxide. Okay.
So, we mix it thoroughly. Then, everything, lahat ng kokopit na gagamitin nyo, kumuha lang kayo ng amount na gagamitin nyo for the sowing day or transplanting.
Yeah.
For me, depende kasi kung gaano karami yung tanim ninyo. Let's say 100 heads or 100 seedlings. Siguro at least mga 15 to 20 liters of water. Tsaka 20, 1:1. Or, yan, gaya ng sinabi ko, mas marami dapat ang amount of water para, yan, makita nyo na lubog talaga yung grow medium natin.
Yung coco-peat.
Yes, yung coco-peat. Yeah.
For example, brother, kung ang number of heads mo is 100, mga ilang kaya, I'm talking about the volume of the coco-peat, mga ilang kaya yun? Mga ilang liters?
That's around
kung 100 heads.
100 heads, most probably mga nasa 30 liters
of coco-peat. Yeah, okay.
Kasi depende rin kung gaano kalaki yung cups nyo.
I see.
Kung 3 inches cup, kung 2.5, or at least yung mga ganitong kalalaki, it's around 2 inches. Mas konti.
I see. Okay. So this one, kasi when you soak it in, parang binabanlaw. Hindi pa rin nalaman, so you're squeezing it, right?
Yeah, squeezing it pa rin. Just to make sure na mag-separate talaga yung mancha niya.
Yeah.
Initially, talaga makikita nyo yung brown color.
I can see yung may mga bubbles na reaction.
Nagre-react na siya.
So that's the hydrogen peroxide doing its thing, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And then afterwards, you will leave this for 24 hours to 2 days, basically 48 hours. Okay. So let's assume, bro, just to speed things up, naka 48 hours ka na. Okay. So ano naman yung gagawin mo?
So after soaking ng 2 days sa hydrogen peroxide, and we can pwede na natin siyang hanguin, pigain, at makikita nyo naman na malinaw na yung tubig, yung pinipiga natin, at yung particles na tinatawag natin na maputik na portion ng coco-peat, humihiwalay na. So ito lang yung usable na coco-peat, which is hindi maputik.
Yeah. Coarse pa siya. Yung
coarse
magaspang niya.
Yes, magaspang. Which
is
yung
gagamitin.
Yeah. So,
talagay muna sa isang
talagay muna natin dyan. Hayaan lang natin siyang mag-drip or patuluan lang natin siya. Not necessary na whole day. Pwede na natin siyang ilagay din sa buffering solution.
Buffering solution. You mean by that, itong next tab naman natin?
Yes.
Correct. Okay.
So, itong second tab natin, haluan natin ng calcium nitrate.
Okay. So,
2 ways para mag-prepare ng calcium nitrate solution for buffering. Pwede tayong gumawa ng stock solution na 300 grams of calcium nitrate to 500 ml of water.
Okay.
Again, yung ginagamit natin sa nutrient solution, yung ginagamit nating tubig para gumawa ng mga stock solution, it should be dechlorinated, or at least best talaga distilled water. Pero kung medyo may kamahalan yung para sa inyo ay mahal ang distilled water, you can use tap water pero dechlorinated.
This time dechlorinated.
Yes. kapag gagawa tayo ng mga nutrient solution for stock. So ito na yung remaining coco peat. Ito yung portion ng coco peat na hindi dapat natin ginagamit.
May maraming tanin na.
Yes.
I see.
Nagmamang siya. So ito, pwede na natin ihalo sa soil, i-dispose.
Okay. So okay na yan. So ngayon, while you're pinapaduyo mo lang siya ng kaunti, now we shall proceed with the preparation for your buffering mixture, I would say. For your buffering mixture solution. So what's your formula so we can have it prepared?
So for the buffering solution natin, we just simply add calcium nitrate. So specifically itong water-soluble na calcium nitrate by NutriHydro.
So we have here 6 liters
of water.
So your formula is
for every liter of water, we will add 7 grams of calcium nitrate.
So 7 by 6 is 42 grams, tama?
Yes. 42 grams. Yan yung dry, ito yung pamamaraan natin na diretso.
So they just do the math, no? Kung magkano sila ng mas marami, edi mag-adjust na lang sila. Okay, just do the math. Okay.
Kapag maraming volume of water or maraming volume of coco peat na ibabuffer nyo, talagang maraming calcium nitrate.
That is 42 grams.
Yeah.
Sorry. Kulang pa. That is 0.042. So,
hindi, tama. 42. Kasi pag pinarating mo doon, 400 grams na yun.
Okay then. This is 42 grams.
Yeah. So, this is our calcium nitrate. Water-soluble, 42 grams of calcium nitrate into our
dechlorinated water.
Yeah, dechlorinated water.
So, papatuyuin. Just make sure lang na ma-dissolve siya. Okay.
Dapat totally dissolve. Another way to do this is by making stock solution niya. So,
may pre-mixture ka na tapos iyan.
Yes. You can do this isang 1 liter of bottle ng NutriHydro. Yun empty tapos malinis. You can use dechlorinated water tapos mag-add kayo ng 300 grams of calcium nitrate for every 500 ml of dechlorinated water. Then from that, from there, pwede kayong kumuha ng 2 ml.
2 ml naman siya.
2 ml per liter of water.
Okay. So, yan, medyo tuyo na siya. Ay, tuyo, dissolve na siya. Okay.
So, kailangan lang natin i-dissolve siya ng maigi. Para madali, mag-stock solution na lang kayo. So, yeah.
Okay. So, fully dissolved. And then now,
so, once the calcium nitrate is totally dissolved, we can now pour in our coco peat.
Again, why do we do this process, buffering?
For everyone's knowledge, kasi merong mataas na nutrient content na gaya ng potassium and other salts na kailangan i-neutralize para
ma-prevent yung nutrient lockout.
Para ma-prevent ang nutrient lockout and para maayos ang pag-transport ng nutrients from the roots to the stem to the leaves. So without this process, makikita nyo na may tendency na mag-stand lang yung seedlings natin. So, we will soak this for about 24 hours to 36 hours.
So parehas siya na 24. Okay. Yung kanina is 24 sa sterilization is 24 to 48. For this one naman it's 24 to 36.
36 hours.
So
for buffering.
Exactly. Doon lang sila na magkaiba. Okay. And then after that, pwede na siyang gamitin. Okay.
So after 36 hours, pwede nyo nang pigayin, then pwede nyo nang idiretso sa cups or sa mga seedling trays.
Okay. Now that you mentioned about the cups, yes, let's talk about the cups. Yan, I'll put it in front. Para mas, you know what, I'll just give you isa. So you can share your thoughts para kung alin ang dapat and then kung anong dapat gamitin.
Yes. So we have 2 different kinds of cups na ginagamit for hydroponics. Meron din ako nito sa aking grow area, sa indoor. Kapag sobrang nagamit ko na yung itong plastic net cups, I would use styro cup naman. Para lang walang mag-retain na salt. Yun yung purpose ko. For alternating use.
Tsaka of course, para meron kang ample time to cleanse it.
Yeah. Yes.
To sanitize it.
Yes. Para may time ako mag-sanitize, para mag-sterilize, or para in general, malinisan ko. Kasi mahirap na paulit-ulit, nag-accumulate talaga yung salts over time. Lalo na pag mainit ang temperature ng panahon. Diba? Nakikita natin yung mga salts namumuo. So I just want to prevent that by alternating styro cups.
The use of these
these two cups. So maganda itong styro cup na to during hot season. Then maho-hold niya yung mismong coco peat inside. So let's demonstrate that. So after buffering, we can now directly fill this cup with coco peat.
Hindi mo siya patutuyuin.
Hindi na.
Basta bigay mo lang siya.
Bigyan mo lang siya. Ang goal natin dito is to retain the moisture and the calcium itself. So not necessary na patuyuin siya.
I see. Gotcha.
So, yan. Yung iba kasi gusto nila half filled lang, pero para hindi maglegi yung mismong seedling na patutubuin natin dito, especially pag nag-direct sowing tayo, we have to fill the cup up to this level. At least mga half inch.
From the
lid. Yan. Kasi kapag lubog yan, pahirapan lang natin yung seedling na makakuha ng sikat, ng sunlight. So, we don't want to ayaw natin pahirapan yung
sprout. To stress it out.
Yes. Yeah. So, yan. Ganyang level dapat. Ganyang karami. And hindi dapat masyadong siksik.
Yeah.
Kasi once na sobrang siksik niyan, hindi makaka-penetrate masyado at hindi makaka-penetrate na maayos yung roots.
Mahirapan siya makalabas.
Yes. So, it has to be, loose lang ng konti.
Yung tama lang.
Yung tama lang.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yes. Okay.
So, kung gagamit naman ako nitong net cups, I would suggest na yung seedling coming from the seedling tray.
Okay.
Yeah. Kumbaga, yung seedling mismo, nakakapit na sa coco peat. Once na binunot nyo yun, diretso na siya.
Ibig mong sabihin is that, it's because kapag yung correct me if I'm wrong ha, kapag yung yung nag-seedling ka, nasa net sa yung seedling tray niya, mesh shape na siya. And now, tapos, ibig sabihin, dahil nga doon na siya, lumaki na yung nagkaroon ng roots. And then, those roots will hold its shape. Then tsaka mo siya ilalagay dito. Okay.
Yun yung na-realize ko rin. Ang laking tipid din actually sa paggamit ng coco peat. Once na fully develop na yung roots, within 15 to 17 days, pwede ko na siyang i-transfer to the cups. Then, once na nakita nyo yun, talagang there's no need to add coco peat talaga sa cup. So, ang laking tipid niya. So, from the time na nag-sowing kayo ng seed sa seedling tray, then, it's not necessary na magka-transplant ka, then you add coco peat to this cup.
Kasi, for this one, naglagay ka ng coco peat. May lalaki kasi ng mga butas niya. So, tendency is just, mag-ano lang siya. Malalaglag din siya, especially kung NFT ka kasi may running water.
Lalo na kung nag-bottom drenching ka. So hindi pa nag-spread yung roots sa dinagdag mong coco peat. So ang tendency niya magwa-wash off talaga. So magkakaroon ng gap dito sa ilalim. So mangyayari, mahirapan yung roots na mag-sit through or makakuha ng nutrients agad sa tubig kasi wala siyang support na coco peat sa bottom. So, mangyayari, mag-dry off lang yung lettuce, then eventually mag-dry. So, mas practical, kung ang seedling tray mo ay kasing size nitong butas ng size ng cup, it's much better na from that seedling tray, you can transfer the seedling directly into this cup without adding extra coco peat. So, yung coco peat na pinagkakapitan ng roots, yun na yung mismo. So, parang nagtanim ka na rin ng seed sa rock wool.
Now, question. Napag-usapan natin itong 3 commonly used na mediums. Do you advise, coming from your experience, of reusing it? Now, if it can be reused, how many times can you reuse?
For my previous experiences, I tried na using it siguro several times.
You're talking about the...
Yes, the coco peat. Na-notice ko rin, napansin ko rin na over time, nag-accumulate siya ng algae. So, hindi talaga siya maganda para sa growth. Observation ko rin, nagpuputik. Kasi nagde-deteriorate over time
Yeah, because it's biodegradable.
It's biodegradable, organic. So, over time, pag nabababad uli siya, kahit na sterilize mo, pakuluan mo uli, once na nababad uli sa tubig, unti-unti siya nagiging putik.
Yeah, of course, because it's particles, starts to biodegrade. No? It starts to break down.
Yeah.
Kaya kapag nag-reuse ka, because when you start reusing it, that means it will undergo the same process again. Bababad mo sa yung mixture mo ng hydrogen peroxide, do this again. So it adds up dun sa it adds up and speeds up its process of degrading because it's like I said, it's the material is biodegradable. So you do not suggest it.
Yeah, I don't suggest it kasi likewise gaya ng rock wool tsaka ng foam, meron din siyang naiiwang roots at saka yung root crown. Mahirap. May time ka bang para tanggalin lahat yun, diba? I-dry up mo pa, yung drying process. Yeah. Kung tagulan, hindi mo mapapatuyo agad yan dahil wala kang way para mapatuyo agad. Diba? So for me, it's not advisable to reuse. It's a good time. It's a one-time use lang talaga. Then after that, another thing is yung nag-accumulate din siya ng salts. Ng salts.
Ng salts. Yeah.
Which is na-compromise din yung pH balance and the EC niya.
I see.
So hindi ko talaga siya nire-recommend to reuse.
For reuse. Yeah. And besides, it's not that expensive, di ba? Like I said, this is widely available dito sa atin. You know what? Because of because it is popular for sa paggamit, especially dito sa hydroponics. It became an industry. Because before hindi naman pinapansin kasi yung bunot. Yung bunot it's the coconut husk na pinrasis, giniling para maging ganito. Now it became an industry. Marami na exactly. So now it is widely available and it's not that cheap. It's not expensive. So it's cheap. So might as well na gumamit na lang ng bago. I see.
And another thing is pala, another thing is yung source. We need to sterilize it properly, disinfect it properly. Kasi we don't know kung saan siya nanggaling. Baka meron siyang laman na mga larva or insect eggs na baka
nandun na siya, na dormant na Yeah, totally agree with you.
Baka dumami sila sa farm mo kung hindi mo i-process or i-sterilize na maigi. So, yan yung isa sa mga importanteng gawin ng grower para maiwasan yung pagkalat ng infestation at saka ng diseases.
Yeah. Totally agree with you. Brother, this conversation that we're having is very, very, very nice and very informative. Now, my question is, do you have any tips, sabihin natin, or things to do and not to do when it comes to what do you call this, the preparation of these mediums para mas alam nila, para maiwasan na nila basically?
Yep. Basically, ang unang tip lang dyan is make sure na malinis, hygienically malinis ang
Malinis,
kamay mo. That's one top priority para sa lahat ng mga hydroponics grower. Kasi without it, lahat, from the start, kapag hindi ka malinis, everything will follow. Magkakaroon ng pathogen ang lahat ng mga tubig na mahahawaan niya. Kapag hindi sterilized, kapag hindi nahugasan, mako-compromise yung growth ng seeds at ng seedlings mo. Hindi mo mararamdaman yung optimal growth ng lettuce kapag hindi ka kapag hindi mo nasimulan sa tamang proseso, lalo na kapag hindi mo naisip na dapat malinis ang growing environment mo.
I see.
Saka work environment.
Yeah. And besides, yung seed germination rate is also dependent on how clean and sterilized your grow medium is. Tama? So, kung maayos siya at walang nutrient lockouts and properly buffered, you have a better chance of increasing your germination rate. Tama ba yung nabig? So, very important din siya. Obviously, pag hindi maganda yung growing medium, of course, you have a bigger chance of na hindi mag-sprout or mag-germinate yung iyong buto. I see. Bro, now, nagawa na natin yung 2 steps for handling the coco peat. First, we and then nilagay natin siya sa buffering solution. Then, what happens next? Yeah.
So, after ng buffering process natin, we drain it. Pigay lang natin siya.
Yeah.
Let's get some few handful of coco peat.
Yeah.
Then, since na meron na tayong bioprotection, which is the Subamo.
Oh, yes. Nga pala. Yeah.
Bago tayo magpunla, we have to coat it with bioprotection, that is the Subamo.
Okay. Now that you mentioned Subamo, bro, is that ang advantage kasi ng Subamo, pare, is yung tinatawag na ISR. ISR basically stands for Induced Systemic Resistance. Yun yung isa sa sa benefits niya. Okay? What it does basically is that pinapalakas niya yung resistance niya. Okay? How and why? It's because of this. Obviously, pag protected ka na, mas malaki yung chance mo of developing a resistance dun sa mga
unwanted
pathogens.
So, yeah.
And aside from that, it also enhances the plant growth. Okay? Because this thing, how it works basically is that, di ba, meron kang ganito. Pangunahan na kita ng konti. So, what happens basically is that how we integrated the Subamo with our system is that, di ba, meron ka na itong, natapos mo na buffer mo siya, inilagay mo na siya, di ba? So, bago mo siya gamitin, we need to coat it. Kailangan natin siyang samahan ng probiotics. Okay?
That includes also the rock wool and the...
Yes, exactly. Yeah. I-coat mo lang naman siya, okay? So, what will happen basically is that yung medium mo is now coated with probiotics, okay? With Subamo. Basically, these are good bacteria. And of course, bacteria, how their universe works, how their system works, is that it's a numbers game, okay? This being a good bacteria, kapag they have a healthy population here, of course, pag pumasok yung mga unwanted bacteria, unwanted pathogens, like I said a while ago, it's a numbers game. Whoever has a bigger population wins. So, yun yung isang advantage of using this, okay? So, what will happen is that, eto, di ba, okay na to, na-coat mo na siya ng Subamo mixture. So, ang gagawin mo lang naman dyan is that ilalagay mo na siya dito. Perhaps you can do it because I don't have a gloves with me. Yeah. So, yan. Kinoting mo na siya with the Subamo. Okay. Yan.
This is good now for sowing seeds.
Exactly. Yeah. So, what will happen now, bro? Meron ka ng ganito. Okay? Ilalagay mo na yung coat, yung mo ngayon. Yung seeds mo, no? So, basically, essentially, what happens is, yung coat itself is already coated. May film na siya. Meaning to say, meron na siyang good bacteria na panglaban niya in the event na merong unwanted pathogens na aatake dito. Bakit? Because, you know naman that you cannot certainly kill every bacteria. Kaya nga, di ba, there's always a chance, 99.9%. There's always that 0.01% of having a bad bacteria floating around. So, papasok din yun. Now, again, inuulit ko palagi is that once it is coated, mas protected na siya. Okay? And apart from that, it also is a natural pest control. Meaning to say, bye-bye na sa pesticide, sa fungicide, at kung ano-ano pa.
Chemical. Harmful chemicals.
Exactly. Why harmful? Of course, harmful nga because it's chemical-based. This one is non-chemical-based. It's all natural. Good bacteria basically. And then, of course, ang isa pa dong advantage niya, bro, is that it increases its stress tolerance. Okay? Pag nagkaroon ng sudden change of temperature, di ba? It increases yung tolerance niya. Hindi siya biglang manghihina. Have you experienced ba doon sa, I do understand that yung sa mga greenhouse na inaanuhan mo ay gumagamit din kayo. Diba?
We did use Subamo. So nakita ko naman yung effect niya once na nagkaroon ng sudden change of weather din, which really affects the water itself. So nakita namin, hindi siya ganung nagwi-wilt. So, yeah.
Especially dito sa atin, di ba? Kasi nga yung temperature natin is medyo somewhat pabago-bago. Okay? And then lastly, bro, before I forget, ang isang advantage nito, it is sustainable and eco-friendly. Nabanggit natin kanina, di ba? It's non-chemical based. That's why it is eco-friendly. And it is very sustainable because it doesn't pollute. Sabihin natin, it's not harmful to us. So that is Subamo. So yeah. Anyway, I'm so sorry. I spoke a lot. So I'm so sorry. So please continue.
So yun, after drenching it with Subamo, ito ay pwede na nga nating magamit for direct sowing or pagpupunla ng ating mga seeds. At dahil populated na siya ng good bacteria, yung sinabi mo, we can be confident na mas lalaking malusog at resistant sa lahat ng mga possible pathogens or any bad bacteria
na napapasok pa.
Yes, sa ating system. Kasi hindi talaga natin maiwasan, especially pag outdoor greenhouses, kapag may sudden change of temperature, high temperature, mainit, that's the time na nagkakaroon tayo ng problem, nagkakaroon ng accumulation of algae. So, it's good thing na meron tayong ganitong bioprotection like Subamo that will help the plants to resist any kinds of water stress or any pathogens that may occur.
Ang galing nga ng sistema niya because of the yung idea nga of induced systemic resistance. Parang it's basically how it works. As I've said a while ago, it's just tricking the plant itself that he is being attacked by bad bacteria. Pero in fact, hindi naman. So it's form of trickery. Pati na good way. So, after this, pwede mo na siyang gamitin.
Yes. Pwede na natin siyang ilagay sa mga cups kung magda-direct sowing tayo or sa mga seedling trays kung wala tayong space for direct sowing. So, yeah.
And before I forget, we will be discussing the Subamo on a separate video because this it takes a different set of videos. Para mas malaman. But now this is available na for the public. So, having said that, brother, I think we have tackled everything. Is there anything else you want to say before we end this episode? Perhaps your tips?
So, I guess I usually constantly remind the growers na importante pa rin yung magkaroon tayo ng kalinisan. Maging hygienically clean or talaga malinis tayo sa ating pangangatawan, especially with our hands. Then, yung mga materials na gagamitin natin, yung mga trays, yung mga cups, dapat laging malinis din. Even the tubs, lalagyan natin ng tubig for sterilization and buffering So everything has to be clean. Lalo na pagpasok nyo ng greenhouse, grow area, you should have that standard of cleanliness. Para at least may iwasan talaga natin na yung pagdami ng bacteria or any pathogens, even pests.
O kahit na meron kang
biosecurity
may Subamo.
Yes, kahit meron tayong bioprotection, we have to put it on the top of our priorities talaga. As a grower, dapat malinis. Kasi this is hydroponics, we don't need any bad bacteria.
I see. Before I forget, bro, is there any particular time of the day to do this, yung preparation na nabanggit mo kanina?
Yes, we can do this from morning talaga. From the time na pagpasok nyo ng greenhouse, ng farm, we can do this from morning, then we can stop it noon. Basta during the time na medyo maginhawa pa sa loob ng greenhouse or sa work area nyo, lalo na pag meron kayong deadline, this is a daily task ng isang farmer. So, we have to make sure na magawa natin ito first thing in the morning after inspecting, after the routinary inspection.
Daily task. Yung routine nila.
And especially kung succession yung pagpupunla natin or we have a weekly basis of sowing and harvesting. Diba? So, we have to make sure na magawa natin to sa umaga pa lang. Then, para ma-meet lang natin ang deadlines, we have to continue it right before we leave the farm. Continue it in the afternoon.
I almost forgot. Diba, ginawa mo na ito, nakapag ganito ka na, the buffering and all. Pwede bang hindi mo na siya gamitin kaagad? Or you can store it muna?
Actually, mas practical kung ano lang yung kailangan nyo for the day, for the week.
For that activity nga.
Mahirap din kasi mag-store ng matagal, lalo na ang rock wool at ang coco peat, madaling mag-deteriorate. Since kapag matagal siyang nakababad sa tubig, other farmers wanted na talagang medyo dark brown, which is talagang totally absorb yung tubig. Mahirap din eh. Kasi baka may tendency na mag-accumulate din ng new bacteria or kung hindi siya na-sterilize na maigi or walang sterilization na nangyari, nag-buffer agad, babaho yung grow medium natin.
So what you're saying is that kung ano yung gagamitin mo, you do it. Do yung i-sterilize mo to do this process. But of course, you have to plan ahead, especially yung sabi mo kapag yung daily or every other day or possibly every week yung pagsuso mo. So it's just a matter of scheduling. But you do not suggest to gagawin mo to and then i-store mo. No. I see. Wonderful. So, brother, again, thank you so much for sharing your knowledge.
Thank you.
And then we're very happy, bro, that you as well integrated our new product, now which is Subamo. Sa ating sterilization process, okay? And it really helped us a lot, basically, because of course, a lot of people, you're a very credible person. So, I'm pretty sure that marami dyan ang nakikinig at ginagawa yung mga sinasabi mo. And for that, thank you so much. So, that concludes our topic for today, which is, again, the grow medium preparation and the net pots. And of course, we've since nasabi na niya, it's just the integration of Subamo with our system and preparation. So once again, thank you so much and see you on the next class.